What's up to all those alone in the zone? It's the scribbler, not to be confused with the riddler. John Eli Lopez back once again on a mission to get you one step closer to being the king or the queen of the pencil. And today, I'll be taking y'all through a freestyle sketch. If you'd like to follow along, all you would need is some color pencils and a thick and thin black marker. Okay, let's get started. After looking at a few reference photos, I put my own concoction in my head, which is of a soldier from the Black Panther Party. And this is kind of using, maybe 3, 4 photos and put them into one. That's a good way to do it too, You could just look at some reference material, get something in your head, and just go for it. My main objective here when I looked at the reference material was just to see the folds of the jackets and definitely the beret. And some aspect of the logo, even though in here I did it small. But first got the initial sketch going, and then we just went straight for the marker. And I'm using a Sharpie here that has the thick and thin points. And of course, I first started with the thin. And I just went for overall sketch, and I wanted to add majority of the detail using the marker, because that's going to give it more of a natural freestylish feel than if I work up a really tight pencil drawing and then go to the marker, because then it'll be like I'm just tracing over my pencil lines. So I wanted some of my lines to be organic. So keep that in mind too, If you want to keep that organic kind of feel, don't go too detailed with the pencil sketch. Trust in your marker skills. So it's kind of a combination here of a pencil layout and somewhat freestyle. And if you see here, especially on the jacket, I did a lot of lines, but I only use a couple. The rest will be erased. So, it's better to have more and don't need it than to have less. And my shading technique here is called cross hatching. But I first start off with just the hatching. Lines going in one direction, and then as I'm getting dark on the edges, I'm keeping my lines closer together and just tightening them up in a different direction to get that shadow going. So yeah, we're getting the cross hatching and now getting the darker areas. Now we're onto that kneaded eraser and just getting rid of the loose pencil lines. And, that's a feeling too when you get rid of the pencil line. Now you know that you're on your own now. Your pencil sketch, whatever as a guide you had there, is now officially gone. So definitely here for the logo, I was looking at reference material here. And if you know this logo, it's pretty detailed, but I'm doing it small here on the hat, so I had to pick and choose what details I could have put in and what I had to leave out, but I like what I did put in. You definitely get the gist of what's going on. And now we're moving on to my browns color pencils. I'm using at least a good three. I had the dark brown, burnt umber, and light ochre. And I'm doing this kind of technique where I'm just going to leave the highlight areas without any color on them and try to, you know, uh, blend it all together as best I could. Just get inside the eyes there, add a little shadow, darken the eyebrows. Of course, you know where the hat meets the forehead, there will be a shadow under that. And one thing to remember when you add in color, you want to spread that color around and try to keep everything balanced. Get in a little gray in there in the jacket, and that's just going to be my transition gray right before it gets to white. And even when, and you got to remember too, like when you're doing black fabric, it could be leather. Leather, of course, would have more highlighted areas, more reflective areas than something like a cotton beret, like what I'm doing here. But even though it's black, just pay attention to the areas that's not really black, that's kind of gray and highlighted, you know. Just spreading that black out a little bit. And as we're moving on here with the jacket, that's just basically going from shadow to light. Because the main area was the face, the beret, and definitely the fist. So that leaves everything else to build up to that quality. And once I get everything up to that quality and that level of rendering, then we're going to go back and forth now. And I've said this in previous videos to try your best to bring everything up at the same time. Don't leave something all the way to the end and then try to catch up. That's why, at the beginning of my videos, I always say alone in the zone because, art making is something you do get lost in. You're in that zone. And you do run the risk of overworking a certain area. So just always keep that in mind. So now we just add in some definite darker areas and shadow. Come in here with like yellow ochre and just adding a transition tone right before the highlight. So it's going like from that reddish hue into the tannish yellow hues. And there you have it. we are done. Very nice. I hope you guys got some value from this video. If you did, hit that subscribe button with your fist. Hit the like. Leave a comment. Any feedback will be appreciated. So until next time, John Eli Lopez signing out. Y'all be good and be safe.